Ben from Catch Pro Australia. We're on the set of Lawn Care Skull Sessions with my co-host, the bearded lawnsman.
What's up, Benny?
And we got Leroy.
Yeah.
How you going, brother?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, real good, mate.
Fucking smells like alpha in here.
Alpha.
These boys have been out
It's
working.
called pheromones, mate.
Pheromones, more like feral fucks.
Pheromones.
33 degrees in Brisbane, Vegas today.
Was it really?
I don't
Hot as
reckon
hell.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Dry as hell too.
dry.
You haven't started on your mulch yet.
Hey, I've been working all day.
Oh, have you? How many
Yeah.
cubes did you get?
Nah, I've been fucking mowing. And
Fucking. I saw it. Looks pretty good.
He wasn't doing nothing.
I actually cut the shit out of it too.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
So
Fucking greener than most of the lawn. I got a little patch of green yesterday, but that was it.
I saw that and I was gonna respond today, and I just couldn't be fucked getting my phone out and taking a
Lawn
photo.
walks. Lawn
Yeah, like
Too hot.
and I noticed. I think you posted that on your personal page. Hey, not TBL.
For some reason, my Instagram linked up with my personal
And
page,
I
but
was
it gets
like-
more traction on my personal page than it does
Yeah, I
on the
saw that
TBL
too.
page.
I was like, oh, BJ's trying to grow his like personal profile.
Well,
It's
fucking
like no one
no.
that knows him gives a shit.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
So everyone, if you're joining us, we got Lawns by Leroy with us today, because I believe
I was in the area,
yes.
essentially. You didn't get invited. I just turned up.
So lots of people in LNCA are aware of Leroy.
Shenanigans. That's about it.
Yeah.
Just
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Yes. So he's graced the it was it Channel 7, 9, 10? Who was it? Who was it? Got to see that cute little
Sunrise
bump.
in-
Sunrise.
It was Channel 7. Oh, plus a few
Yeah.
newspapers like locally and that.
Really?
But that was
Bonetown.
2018. That's like 5 years ago now.
Fuck yeah.
Too old for that.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
I think the limit of nudity is probably about 42.
Fuck yeah.
I can tell we're shaping up for a good episode.
No, it is. Well, Leroy's smashing beers. I'm smashing Maximus to get me
Well, it's skull sessions. Like we've got to put the name to the test.
I'll scull the
And here I
line,
am
Maximus.
having a coffee and a dart.
Yeah, it's all right. We all have our vices.
Yes, we do.
Fuck, I'm sweaty, eh? It's fucking hot.
I jumped in the pool.
Did ya?
Yeah.
It's
Might
looking
be
good,
my
actually.
first day to jump in the pool when I get home. But I'll probably cool down by then.
Yeah, true.
Oh,
True,
dear,
not
dear,
false.
dear me, Benny.
So coming off the back of a pretty good episode last week,
Yeah, heaps of good feedback, man. I've had heaps of messages. I don't fucking know what you got. but-
Leroy the bastard didn't even listen.
Didn't ya?
No.
Oh, mate.
Fill me in.
Oh, it was a fucking good one, eh? That was about it.
Nah, look, we'll,
Swearing, talking shit. Pete.
yeah,
Pretty much. Just talked a lot
No,
of
we
shit.
had our top 10 points to help run a successful business. It was actually like a semi-serious episode.
Yeah,
That's surprising.
we had a topic.
and
good.
and even though our top 10 turned into about 17,
Yeah, I think it was more than 17 at the
I got
end.
Advice the better. I suppose.
I got some good feedback from that episode.
What was
and
number one tip? This is to be successful, right?
Don't be a fuckhead. No.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
That fucking helps.
Well, look, I mean, I've probably still got me fucking notes here from last week. Here we go. Anyway, we obviously back end.
Explain to me what that is.
So just
what you're thinking.
I'm sorry.
yeah, bend over then. Anyway, we won't gloss over it too much, but you know, we do appreciate everyone tuning back in after our little holiday.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's nice to have a little week off now and again to stretch the legs with the children, get out and about, and actually not worry about editing and all that stuff, because it does take a lot behind the scenes, and we're both very busy people. So,
Speak for yourselves.
come on, mate. I'll try and keep you as busy as I can.
I appreciate it.
Oh fuck, we've had some fun stuff come out over the week in my personal life. Now, a couple of weeks ago, before our little break, I was talking about my vasectomy and how it was test time.
I've been
know
hearing
what?
about it for days.
I'd get another fucking vasectomy before I went and got a fucking test done. I know you didn't
What
get
happened?
the test, mate.
I just tested it in Vicky
I've
during ovulation time.
I'm not fucking game, mate. That's a really expensive fucking test if it doesn't go well.
Are abortions illegal still? I mean, legal?
Yeah.
They're legal.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened?
Well, obviously, you got
Yeah,
a vasectomy.
yeah, I got the chop. So fucking, I have had to go 3 times. So the first time, I got halfway through the act, and Lou yelled out to me and was like, "Don't do it." I was like, "Why?"
I'm already there.
Obviously, I'm like, having a good time. And she's like, "You need to have at least 3 days off before you do it." And I'm like, "No." Obviously, we'd had fun a few days earlier, so I wasn't in the time frame. So I had to cut that short.
That was half the reason why.
Because you would have had to restart the 3 days.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
not worth it. Yeah,
No.
it's not worth it.
Well, I mean, for me, like, once you go 3 days, right, you pretty much just got to look at it and start sleeping.
You've got a point. You've got a point.
So,
brush past the towel.
see, with what happened with us, I know it's a little bit personal, right? But
I'm loving it.
when we were trying to have our first baby, that turned out to be babies. Vicky had, some woman issue where she couldn't get pregnant, and so they test the male and they test the female and find out what's going on. Now, I didn't think it was anything wrong with me, but when I had to get tested, I had to wait 3 days as well. And here's Vicky, fucking on day 1 and 2, just walking around nude, jumping on top of me, and like I'm like, I can't do any of this, And I'm like,
Leave me alone.
You never paid me any attention in my whole life.
I know.
And because of this,
And all of a sudden,
so
I can well and truly tell you right now that I didn't get any more desirable when I had to be on a break. So
never felt so used in my whole life afterwards.
nothing wrong with that.
well,
Afterwards, because then it was like, the doc would actually ring us and be like, "Vicky's ovulating.
yeah,
Get on it."
get on.
And I would just be like, "No."
I don't want to
Get on it.
And then about 5 minutes later, I'd be like, "Oh."
We're just men. Like, we're one-time fucking things. Women, ovulating or whatever. It's like, you get pregnant, you can just, next time, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes, blokes, we're done. We're done after one.
It's funny, just before we walked into this room, Vicky came down and said, "Is this going to be like a controversial episode?" And I was like, because she saw Leroy here, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "No,
Got a reputation.
it's and then fucking listen to how we've setting this one off."
I've only
I
done.
didn't start
I've only
this shit.
fucking. I've only hit on round 1. I've still got 2 more rounds to go.
Yeah, I've heard of these stories.
So obviously that first one, that was a bust. So that's attempt number 1 to get
No
this
pun
test done.
intended. No pun.
Yeah,
No pun.
yeah. Number 2. So I was like, all right, let's cover our bases. So we rang the blood test place and we're like, "Hey, I want to drop in my sample. Is that fine? Do you guys do it there? Make sure it's all good."
We're talking cum, people, not music. Okay, not music.
So I was like, yeah, made sure it was all good. So yeah, so the rule is you gotta bust, and then within half an hour you got to get it to the testing center.
No, it's 3 hours, isn't it?
Nah,
Do
it's
it on the
half
way.
an hour. It's half an hour if
traffic,
you want
you
to, unless
literally
you
have
want
to
to
do it on
take
the
it to the main center that's towards town. So if you want to do it at a local one, it's like nut at 1:30, be there at
No
2.
time for a sleep afterwards.
No, yeah.
Or like a little cuddle or
That'd be no
something.
good.
Nothing. I wasn't going to cuddle myself anyway because you can't use lube and you can't have sex. You can't. Get
Now tell
oral,
us how.
nothing.
Now I didn't hear this part story. I need to know how you did that. Actually, maybe. we should
No,
talk about
you
that, but
don't want to know.
I'm
It's
just
fucking
thinking
awful.
chafe. That's all I'm thinking of.
Anyway, so I've decided. Okay, so I had a bit of time yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? No, David. No, actually, let's go back in time. This is still the second one.
This is last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is last week. So this is the second one still. I'm like, all right, sweet. Made sure it's all good to go. Shot, cups in my pocket.
Got to keep it close.
Got to keep it close. You got to keep it in your pocket. That's the advice from the doc, Dr. Dick. Highly recommend his
Probably better off in your
vasectomy.
balls,
Well,
really.
I was going to pouch it, but
It makes
fucking
sense.
prison wallet it. But no, so I've shot down. I've been like, "Hey Lou, you want to come for a drive?" She's like, "Yeah, sure. This is going to be fucking hilarious." So I've shot down to the testing center. I've walked in and there's like a couple of people and this old love. She grabs me. She's like, "Oh, come in." And I'm like, "I already have no." Anyway, I've walked into the room and I gave her the form and she's like, "Oh, I'll just go and get you the stuff." I'm like, "Oh, no, it's cool.
I've got my own stuff.
I've got it. It's in my pocket." And she looked at me like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, we don't take it here. I'm like, I literally rang you guys like an hour ago to make sure.
Oh, no way.
That's when you say,
And
my
she's-
wife will take it at home. then."
Anyway, I've spat the dummy. So I've walked out. She goes, "Try QML. Maybe they can sort you out." So I've jumped in the car, run down the road to the next one. Now, I don't know what it is. Like the old bird was sweet. I walked in, and there was like a 20-year-old behind the counter, gorgeous. There was also a couple in the waiting room who were also young. And they were right next to the counter. So I'm like, oh, fucking hell. So I've given her my form. And she's like, okay, cool. Give me a sec. So I'm like, it's on. So she's fucked off out the back. And I'm just standing there like, come in my pocket. And she's come back. And she's got like a whole kit for me. And went to hand it over. I'm like, I've got it here. It's in my pocket.
So where, like, with this kit, could you do it on site?
No, it's just like a take-home bag.
I actually got offered to do it on site if it was going to be too difficult.
Really?
This was
that at Murray or something?
No, it
in the waiting room.
It was like Green Slaves, I think.
Oh, okay.
Back in 2012, so different time.
Well, anyway, fucking she's gone. Oh, you've missed the cutoff. So I'm fucking standing there, all nutted out, pocket full of jizz.
You should have thrown it on her.
You know what? When I got home, I was so fucking.
You should have Bukkake
I was
pocket
so
Bukkake.
mad.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spidey.
Yeah, I've got all this roadworks out the front, and I'm just like fucking and I just tossed it out into the fucking roadworks. So that's it's buried under about 5,000 kilos of dirt now.
3 million children on the road.
But anyway,
Imagine if they sprouted like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know,
That'd
there's
be
just
awesome.
there's just like a little rat in the drain, just raising them. Splinter. Come no children.
Oh, but anyway, look, we got there in the end. Third time's a charm. Fucking, I was working. Leroy was with us, and the other two boys were working with us too. And I was just like, all right, boys, I've just made the phone call. I gotta go. I got home 1:30, had to knock it out, get it there by 2.
1:30, I was thinking of him.
He's there, and I said, I was thinking about you too.
If it helps you get there.
So I got there, handed it in, and I'll let you all know what the results are when they get in.
Well, hopefully they're not swimming.
He's got to go get that shit done again.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it today. Like,
I'll just get Lou to push me down the stairs.
If there's things in life that you don't want to do twice, having a vasectomy is probably one of them.
I
Like,
would
you only ever
have,
do once.
I would have another vasectomy over having another test.
What do you mean test? Like, what do they do to?
Well, you got to come into a jar and then hand it over to fucking.
I'd rather come in a jar than have to sit there and someone chop my junk.
Yeah, but you don't know. Like you don't feel it.
No, you don't feel it.
You know, he's
feel it.
right there. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit
he showed
awkward.
me pictures.
It's a little bit awkward when they're rubbing the lotion in.
Yeah, yeah. When he finished
especially
it up.
numbing lotion.
Especially when you had like nervous dick.
Yeah.
That was my issue. I was like,
he could barely.
Yeah.
He had to
He's
get
like-
a smaller size of fucking sticky tape.
You
Sticky
should've
tape
said,
on to
"Hey,
my belly.
We only give vasectomies to fucking males. What's going on here?
I was like, it's naturally an innie. Isn't that like everyone? Like some have innies, some have outies.
where they have to actually just
I'm
like
assuming
push-
every bloke has an
where they,
outie.
where they have to push all the skin around to make it come out. All
Then
right.
again, I do have a video I can show you guys that would put that to the test.
All right. Nah.
Okay,
all right,
so
away
on
from
next.
that's 10
Next.
minutes of vasectomy chat.
On to today's episode. So, Leroy, we know that you've been a guest on the Aussie Lawn Stars.
Yes.
So we'll try not to, piggyback too much off a lot of that stuff, but just so
I
that
can't remember it anyway, to be honest.
just so
I
well,
think Gary might have taken it off.
no.
I didn't see it. I looked for it the other day to show me brother. And
Nah,
I
he'd
went through
never.
it, I didn't see it. It wasn't... I did speak some shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot of shit. It wasn't a lot of constructive lawn mowing.
I feel like it's
talk,
going to
I think.
be.
And I was before gym.
I feel like today's going to be worse.
Worse up.
Way worse, sir.
So to just give everyone an idea,
Yeah.
how long you been in the industry, mate?
Well, I did a stint back in 2000 and it would be 7.
Yep. In Brisbane or
Gold Coast, down
Gold
Tweed.
Coast, yeah.
I was down Tweed. I was with the wife at the time, and I bought a run, maybe 20-something customs for about $3,000, I think it
Yeah.
was.
good old days?
I'd
eh?
lost my job. I got fired from IGA up here in friggin' Logan. Wasn't my fault. Just
Yeah.
so you know, I'm a good man. do a lion noise. Whatever you got there.
I got no idea where it is.
So I thought that was just the quickest little industry because I've worked on the golf course, had a bit
Yep.
of experience with grass and whatnot. I thought I can do that quickly. And that was right when the global financial crisis hit in 2007, 2008. And
Would it have been pretty dry back then?
I can't remember.
Because
remember.
I know I started in like '03 and it was bad. It was really dry. And I remember briefly it was really bad until about 2011.
Yeah.
Just before like those floods hit. So so at the time when you were running that business, was it, mostly just like, fuck, I need to get a job, I need to work? Was it that sort of scenario?
I'm just trying to go back to when it was. I think it was more of a case that it's a lawn mowing business is something you can set up pretty quickly.
That's
with
right.
Minimal cost.
Yeah.
And if you're marketable enough and you speak and you're well spoken, you can get jobs quite quickly.
And if you can hustle, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I think, it was because I got fired, and I did have a job at the time working in menswear, and it was just to make some extra coin.
Yep.
And I didn't last long because I think vaguely I remember Koshy, dickhead from Sunrise, saying, when the global financial crisis hit, I'll give away your lawnmower guy.
Oh,
You
thanks,
bastard.
Koshy.
I think,
Well,
thanks
we're
for the heads
always-
up, pal.
Yeah.
Gardening's always the first to go.
Yeah.
Even in the body corporate scene, everything.
Yeah, I know that too. So I gave it away. I think I probably only lasted maybe 18 months. I think. And this is going back to when...
It's not too bad in a very bad climate. Like 18 months if you've only just turned up on
And it wasn't
on
going
a
to be a full-time
very
thing.
bad-
It was just kind of
was just
testing
to
the waters
tide you
because I
over.
worked on the golf course and I like that side of things,
Yep.
like the lawns and cutting grass and that sort of shit. But then, that stopped. And I think back then lawns were literally... One of my larger lawns was like $35.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Like $35. And I look now, the one
25
of a
was
similar
the-
size, it's probably 80 or 90 now for
20
the same size.
25 was the standard, like for when I was breaking in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for even your biggest jobs, I mean,
This is push
$40.
Zero.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think 40 was pretty much your max back then.
But with the cost of living, that's all we bloody fucking needed.
Yeah.
You know?
Changed a little bit now. I was looking at something
start me.
this morning, and on average, from 80, I think it was like 87. No, 85. Apologies. 85 to 2025, the estimated cost adjustment is like 715% inflation. So it's out of control.
I paid $150 for those ciggies this morning.
You are fucking joking. And
Yeah, 150
For that pouch.
for a 50-gram pouch of White Ox.
Is it like a kill weed or something, is it?
yeah,
Nah, like that's
gotta
just
fucking-
that's just tobacco, dude.
lucky cocaine at the bottom or something.
Weed is cheaper. Simple
Yeah.
as that.
Yeah,
That's crazy, man. So, and how long would that last?
that lasted me about 5 days.
You got a problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean,
So $150 every 5 days.
yeah. So, whereas it used to cost me $22.
Inflation's crazy. I saw a little diagram the other day. Someone saying someone could buy a house for such and such back in blah blah blah, and everything's gone up 20-30%, like expenses in life, but wages have only risen 6%.
Yeah, and it's always the way that it goes.
And that's fucked. That means to me that says the government is fucking up. Simple as that.
Someone's fucking up. It's not me. I'm
I'm
fucking doing well.
I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's not me. I'm bloody
I'm
perfect.
fucking an A1. I'm recycling and all sorts of shit.
From that point in your life,
Yeah. Got divorced.
I'm assuming you bounced around a little bit, had a few other jobs. When did you get back into the industry?
I got back into the industry, if you go onto my Instagram, November 2017. I was working at the Brizzy Fruit Market, getting up at midnight, packing orders, delivering to out this way, actually.
Yeah.
I was
Yep.
doing it out this way. And then it was because I had 2 kids of my own, I couldn't be away.
Yeah.
Like I was leaving at midnight to go to work, leaving my 2 kids at home to get up in the morning, get ready and go to school by themselves.
Yeah. It's
I
fucking,
couldn't do that for too long. I got guilty. I was like, I need to be there for my kids. Not that they weren't capable of doing it; they were fully capable, but I just felt that wasn't right. So I had to find another way to be home, but pay the bills. And once again, I thought, fuck it, I'll get into this. And actually, how I got into it was how it took off. And I think I probably said this in Gary's podcast. I had my car stolen from one of the suburbs that I worked in. And then I joined the local community group saying this is what I was doing. I had my car stolen. Everybody felt sorry for old Leroy, and I got a heap of business out of it kind of straight away.
Yeah, sheesh.
Yeah, I had to borrow my mum's car to tow
Yeah.
around the trailer because
Yeah.
I just had mine stolen. But that sort of kick-started for me to go into it full time. So
Nice.
I bit of a silver lining from having my car stolen.
Yeah.
I'm still dirty on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
But,
you gotta
it's-
look. You
mate,
gotta look for those silver
It's the
linings.
same thing with Catch Pro. Like,
Yeah.
people say, like, how did you make that transition? And the real life transition was, I hurt my back so bad that I couldn't physically work anymore.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's the same thing.
Yeah, you got to
Like,
compromise
same
something.
with
You
me.
know, like,
If it wasn't for a fucking head-on drunk driver accident, she wouldn't have fucking flowed the way it did. So yeah, same. It's funny how people get into, like, people just have to have that little tiny push. Like,
Well, what do they say? Luck isn't such a thing. It's opportunity met by motivation or
Yeah.
something equals
Yeah.
luck. Like luck comes from from opportunity. You've got to take the steps to take
That's
advantage
it.
of that opportunity, and that becomes luck.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I'm just really hoping that, you know, whenever Catch Pro takes the next step, I don't have to be screaming in pain again.
with Russell trying to fucking prop you up with a pillow on the ground.
Take me boots off me,
Oh,
eh?
fuck.
For better leverage.
Yeah. Imagine if he started kissing you. It's a bit of payback.
Just go with it, mate.
Yeah,
for
but
all
he
the,
wouldn't.
for all
he-
the neck kisses.
But he just, like, that'd be. Yeah. He'd be
knew
the
you were
opposite.
safe.
He'd be the opposite. Be dancing in front of me, like, kiss me, kiss me.
He knew he was safe for a bit.
So,
Oh, well, that's pretty cool, man. Like, you just started off with the basics, obviously. Like,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I was a cowboy. I think a cowboy's a bloke that
But there's
can't
nothing
do
wrong.
the job. That's all. I
yeah,
think.
see,
Not the
Yeah,
way
see,
you
there's a
it's not the
difference.
way you operate. It's
I've
the way you
talked-
do the job.
I've talked about this before on the podcast, and, like, I mean, I would suggest that I was a cowboy for years, right? And, you know, everyone does have different definitions of what a cowboy is, but I think a cowboy can also just be that dude who doesn't give a fuck, who's just going out, making whatever. We don't give a shit if we undercut. We don't give a shit if we're not the best. We don't give a shit if we don't look the best. You know, all of those things come under the same. You know, even when our business was its most professional, I was still a cowboy.
But you did a good job.
I always did a really good job.
Well, to me, that's not a cowboy. I find a cowboy is a bloke that has a job but doesn't really do a good job at it,
I understand that.
regardless of the equipment they fucking have.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, you can have shitty equipment and do amazing jobs still.
I'm sure there's probably like
Yeah, that's
I've
the
been
thing.
doing it for years.
a cowboy for every fucking industry. Like truck drivers, they might have a nice truck.
No, they kill
can't
you.
drive a
They
fucking
fucking
truck
kill
for
you.
shit.
Cowboys kill you on trucks. Yeah.
No, that's too true.
Where were we?
So skipping forward, you know, to nowadays, I understand you have found a little bit of a niche,
All your catchphrases.
a different market.
My catchphrases.
I've had my grass cut by Leroy.
Oh, yeah?
The last guy.
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
guy. Now the last guy. I
Yeah,
think that's something
you
I'm
got a
going to
few
use.
little
I'm going to fucking
Hashtag the last guy.
I think he might just become a character, the last guy, and I think I might see if I can do some skits.
Yeah,
and stuff
you've done a few little bits and pieces. That's good. So do you enjoy, like, is it like sort of going past a business thing when you do your social media skits and that? Do you just enjoy
It's
doing
just
it?
fun, mate. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Something different to do.
I just like making people laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
as you can tell, most of the shit that I put on the LMCA group or whatever isn't really constructive.
When you're not fucking banned.
It's not, yeah.
I know on the Catch Pro.
Well, I've been banned for good over 12 months. I've been a good boy.
Congratulations.
I know on the Catch Pro channel. Anytime I'm ever feeling. Anytime I'm ever feeling sort of controversial, I always have a flick through Leroy's page to see
Yeah.
if there's anything to share.
Yeah.
So
I've been a bit quiet lately, I guess, but I'm an inspiration guy. If I see something that I think, oh, I can make that.
There was a fucking
Actually, I've got
half cut hedge at Greenleaf's today when we were doing the mulching. And he's like, oh, we need some fucking giant googly eyes for this fucking thing.
Well, it looked
And
like a mouth.
It
would've
just
been
looked
great
like a
for
big
Halloween.
mouth. I was like, okay.
I do think outside the circle. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Like, but I do enjoy the because I did the acting and shit. And like,
Did you? Oh, you were in fucking, not Pirates of the Caribbean. Narnia.
Yeah, I was
Johnny,
in Narnia.
are you Johnny Depp?
Oh!
Yes, I am. No.
So you
No.
Narnia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I,
shot down at
well,
Wello, I think.
Yeah, it was shot here. It was shot in fucking a lot of locations around
Yeah.
the planet, I think. But yeah, that was. I don't know what year that
It was a porn parody. He was a stunt dick.
Stunt dick. No, that's what I was doing for the Naked Guardian. That was stunt dick. Yeah, that would have been 2012. maybe less, I think.
I remember going down with the kids and actually having a squeeze at the boat.
Yeah, no, I wasn't part of the boat part. I was in Movie World in one of the big sound studios there with the big ship on the fucking gimbal and stuff like that.
How is it, man? What's acting like? Is it not what it's all cracked up to be?
Well, I was a pleb.
Yeah,
I
okay.
wasn't like a star, obviously.
Did you rub any shoulders? With
I got to meet some people and that. And like the bloke that I was doubling for was Gary Sweet. So, you take the bald head. I like same height, same build.
Yeah, I remember Gary.
Much better looking. But he said that apparently it was one of the longest, most arduous like movies he's been a part of. And I got involved towards the end.
Was it because it was shot in Queensland?
it was fucking 38 degrees every day.
Can't imagine it being a hot spot for, when anytime I hear about movies now, they're like, oh, there's a movie being shot in Brisbane. I was like,
Bro, they were just shooting Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, down
That's
at Redland
another-
Bay,
wait.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
I saw some
I
stuff.
was driving past it every day. It was shot at a quarry.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I want to go in and fight.
Yeah, I was driving past it as well. Finish him.
I love those movies, man.
Bestiality. No.
Oh no, that's a
That's
different movie.
fatality. Sorry, that's fatality.
No, well that's cool, man. Fucking actor / truck driver /
stuff. No,
You should have, but
we won't go into it.
we all have these weird backgrounds.
No,
man.
but
most
I've-
lawnies anyway, except for Ben. He just started off and
I've lived a
started as a lawnie and continued on as a lawnie.
He's still stuck in the fucking industry, but I've done too much stuff. Like, mate, I've sold men's suits. I've sold carpet, fruit and veg manager, supermarket manager. I've managed a liquor store. The list goes on. The golf course,
Yeah.
fruit and veg.
Did you get a fair bit of experience out of the golf course, or was that more like
That was down at Moona Links,
Yep.
down at the peninsula in Melbourne, and that was in 2003, 2004, maybe just 2004, and they held the Australian Open down there in 2005. But I just started as a shit kicker. I was just doing the labouring. I didn't really jump on the mowers straight away, on the fairway mowers or the rough cutters or nothing like that. So I got pretty fit because I was
you would.
they got like 176 bunkers on just one of the courses.
Oh.
So every Friday it's a case of you go around.
So
and
you're
you
just building
rake-
sandcastles all day long,
Hey, you're raking them. You're like a little fucking.
You reckon all
like
the
a
sandcastles.
Japanese fucking calm fucking garden thing.
Oh yeah, the tranquility.
But yeah, I was just a shit kicker really. But then I got on the mowers, maybe after 6 months when they taught me how to mow the greens properly because you can't fuck up on. That's a good course. Like it's a $100 course.
Yeah,
so it's a good course. So you can't screw up. Even though I did see some freaking doozies, blokes flying into the bunkers and shit
Really?
with fairway mowers. But yeah, so I jumped on the mowers after a while, and then I got fat because that's all I was doing. I just sat.
Yeah, that's
on
what
a
happened to
fucking-
me.
What's your excuse now? No.
I'm back still on the fucking mowers.
So I left in just before the Australian Open actually, because I remember we were talking about having what crew was going to be doing what and stuff like that, and I was going to be on one of the fairway mowers to cut every day before the round start or whatever. But I literally left just before that and went back home up to Jindabyne, so I missed out. But I do remember vaguely that it was really dry that year, and I think it was just the 17th maybe, I don't know, around there. They had to water. It was a raised green.
Yeah.
And they had to water it so balls would actually stay on the green.
Oh, it was just so
So
solid.
in between, freaking, what are they? Groups of
yeah.
golfers. You had the greenies up there watering the green just so it'd make it soft because it was like concrete. They were fucking bouncing. It's like hitting it onto a tennis.
that part of
a
the
cement
challenge?
tennis court. Like, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So that was I enjoyed working on the golf course, but I wasn't qualified to do all the stuff. I learned everything, but I didn't get paid as a qualified greenkeeper.
It's pretty
which
cool.
was
Like
shit.
some regrets that I have is that I did stay in the same industry until I changed into this. Like I've only really worked in one other industry besides
And what was that?
this. Logistics and transport. So I did like picking and packing. Then I moved on to being like a floor manager, then a stock controller, and then
Yeah, sort of what I was doing. was
like
picking and
a
driving.
night shift manager, and then car crash, and then I just went boop 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 back down to where I
Wop,
started.
wop,
So
wop,
they
wop,
just demoted me all the way back down to the bottom as soon as I got out of hospital, and then I transitioned into this after a year. I just waited out the year until I got paid out. So, and
So
yeah,
you
I wish
a
I'd
bit of coin behind you to back yourself with some good shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but I kept that money close to my pocket because I also entered in on a really bad summer. Like it was pretty average.
What year was that?
2015. So it wasn't the worst. It wasn't a drought. I know that.
Because I know 2017 was good. Just as I started, and then it went shit.
I think I had like a really shit first year. Second year was all right, and third year was like hit and miss. I think third year I was starting to drive past a lot of houses. They were blown out to like 6 and 7 week mows.
Yeah.
See, at that point, I think anything after probably maybe 2013 or 2014, because we got into the village scene, nothing ever affected our income.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it rained more, we obviously had to work harder. But if it didn't rain, like we got our paychecks.
You can still go work and just keep it clean.
And there's always something to do, you know, like especially if you're doing gardening.
And
you
like
can always the motivation's not always there. But the paycheck is really.
That's it. If there's a community centre and things like that, all the better. Because like as you know,
well, they quote you for like 12 months, don't they?
Well,
and it's like a contract to come in as
I push for longer. I just signed a 3-year deal, so it's all about security for me, and not just for me, but for the boys that I employ. So I could think of nothing worse than having to be like, hey guys, we don't have enough work, so I'm going to have to let one of you go.
I'm going to have to do it all myself.
And yeah. I'm going to have to let myself go, lose your new boss. I'm going back to transport. Yeah, no, I definitely envy you having a bit more worldly, especially selling suits. That's fucking baller. I would. Yeah,
that's pretty gangster.
It was all right.
But I just hate to talk to dudes all day.
You what?
I would hate to talk to dudes all day. You know, in that way where it's like, you know.
Well, a lot of blokes can't dress themselves.
Yeah, well.
And I felt like I was doing them a favour. And let's be honest, I was down Tweed. Most of them were going to court. There wasn't many weddings.
So you're working at Lowe's.
Good old.
I do remember there was one day a bloke came in a wheelchair. And he said, listen, I need a suit. It's my daughter's wedding or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, sweet as. And I figured out that he'd lost his lower legs in the war or something or something like that. And he comes up to the register, and we have like a little upsell thing that you do at the register, like you sell. And our thing at the time was to sell a 3-pack of socks.
Oh, fuck.
Well, you could do the rest, can't you? So I'm up at the register and say, oh, would you like a 3-pack of socks with that? And the fucker has no legs. Oh, shit, I'm so sorry, mate. But that's how I got poached from the suits to go to the carpet up here in Brisbane. I sold a suit to a bloke that sold carpet, and he could see that I was a salesman. I could talk and yap and speak, and he's like, would you like to come up and do a job where you can earn a commission, that sort of bullshit, selling carpet? And I was like, sussed it out and
I'm
took
glad.
a job, and it was the worst thing I ever fucking did. A bunch of
Was it
bunch
really?
of fucking dishonest couldn't do it.
Oh, man.
Like, to be a salesperson, you've got to, I wouldn't say be dishonest, but you've got to speak shit and stuff. But they were like taking advantage of like actual people and stuff, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. And I know he punched the supervisor in the face because he brought forward a sale of mine to the no, he left it when I asked him to bring a sale to the following week to get my sales underway for that week so I could earn a bonus. He processed it so he could get his own bonus on a Friday. And I turned up on the Monday. I was like, no, I'm done with this.
Oh, really?
Because this again was around the global financial crisis time where people just weren't buying things, whether it was carpet or fucking suits.
Now you can't even you get a tradie to return your call. You're stoked.
You've done well.
We've okayed for our house, so we're trying to do lots of little bits. We've okayed like three quotes. And we've had nothing but crickets back. It's crazy, man.
I've had a pool sitting there for 5 weeks without tiles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, and what you've given them the okay to start it, and they're just.
Oh yeah, like that's. I mean, it was when everything went ahead. It was a part of, it's one step of the process.
That's fucked.
So
yeah, no, that's shit, man.
So the fence, we've got like a temporary fence out there. It looks like jail fencing. And like people know that we've got a pool, like a new pool, and they come in and have a look and they're like, oh yeah, it looks good. And we're like, it's not fucking finished, mate.
It's for inmates.
So
yeah, it looks okay.
it fits in with the old smack house.
No, it's looking good. Did you paint the garage door? I saw some tape at the bottom.
Yes, we did.
Very nice.
The Caulfield green or Mission green, people might
Yeah,
know.
the old Colorbond colours.
Yep. So
Did you know? So, like, I've recently taken on painting, and I didn't know that all of the Colorbond colours, if you stick two together, apparently they all go together. Like, there's none that don't go together. So you could put like the green and the brown. Like that was the old.
That's for
school thing.
colourblind people.
No, it's not. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe he said colourblind, not colorbond.
Colourblind.
Fuck. Who knows? Anyway, that came from a painter. I'm a novice, so I just take people's advice.
Who likes painting, mate? Unless we're doodling shit.
I don't actually mind it.
I'll tell you what.
Apparently, Lou doesn't like the fucking colour that I painted our lounge room in.
oh no,
Very good, hubby, mate, and change it over.
Yeah.
that's why I don't make no decisions around here.
Well, we had 9 colours up on the wall from samples, and my one was the one that got picked. So I was like, oh, cool.
That's a win.
I
That's a win.
wasn't
Looks
100% happy with the color that we actually chose for our whole house.
Yeah.
Boys are talking about things.
We
Too many beer wars.
I wasn't 100% happy with the color that we chose for our house.
Yeah.
But because it's a very light grey
Yeah.
and I was getting a blue vibe from it. Like
Oh,
a really,
okay.
really slight blue
like a
vibe.
light, like a sky blue underneath, like a tint, like a sky blue tint.
It would be very, very slight.
Yeah,
But
okay.
anyways, we actually have discovered that it's actually the Mission Green gutters and some of the window frames reflecting.
What?
So yeah, like we've basically been working at the windows and stuff, and as they're going white, then the color is actually marrying in a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So, all right, Leroy's back. He's going to get another beery.
Yeah, he's thirsty. I worked him hard this morning.
Friggin' day. It's hot as.
So I
Should be water. But
So I understand in this part of your business, you've sort of, got to a new venture. Do we want to talk about that, or is that something
we could
that you're
something
keeping,
briefly talk about.
or are you
I'm
keeping this under wraps?
No, it's not under wraps.
Okay, cool. Because look, BJ first brought it to light with me and said, have you seen what Leroy's doing? And the first thing I thought was that's
Hard fucking work.
That's hard fucking work,
Yeah.
and I couldn't think of anything worse.
I'll be honest straight away. I'd rather do that than do cubic meters of soil.
Yeah, well, it's cubic meters of soil. I mean, you might as well.
He's
just-
looking at. He's
After
looking at
fucking
me.
yesterday.
I mean, we might as well just ring the hospital. Might as, when you say cubic meter, hey, can you book me in because I'm going to be fucked after this.
Oh, fuck.
But the reason why I bring this up because it's interesting is we are at a part of our industry now where I think it's good to look at diversifying.
Big time.
You have to when the grass looks like it does at the moment.
That's right. Now, I do remember saying, 8 months ago, hey, industry, let's not trip too hard because,
It happens.
But it is getting now to that point where, I think businesses, the more you can diversify in times like now when it's dry, don't forget.
You need something to fall back on.
Yeah, but don't also forget, there's markets in Australia that are pinging.
Yeah.
South Australia,
Big time.
Melbourne, like they're getting.
Yeah, Melbourne got like
I think
180
the
mils
rain
or
I
something
think-
over 2 days. Like they're fucking living.
I
it.
think there's even parts of New South that's
Yeah.
getting pretty, pretty hammered. It's really just Queensland.
So
that's-
hopefully we get some then. That's sort of promising if other parts of the country are getting some.
Well, hopefully. It's happened before. It does happen in cycles. Like this feels like it's happened before a few times for me, and I haven't been in the
2018.
industry.
I wouldn't be tripping until if it's like this at Christmas, then I'll be tripping.
we just need some storms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few big
I just
30
love
mil dropping
Yeah, I
storms.
just love a storm too because like we've done a lot of mulching and a lot of planting, and it fucking gets me off the
It might keep
off
shit
the
alive.
hose. I have to pay Rusty $100 for an afternoon of watering, and fucking the other boys are getting watering as well. Extra coin.
So
'Cause I'm here fucking doing podcasts.
I realise we're leaving all the listeners hanging here. So what is this new venture, mate?
It was basically repairing the revetments which I didn't know what that word was.
I don't. I mean, I saw a
A
photo.
revetment is basically a rock wall.
Yeah.
But it's protecting like soil or someone's backyard.
So this would be, say, people living in canals, seaways, things
Exactly,
like that.
exactly.
So usually people that have more money than us.
Yeah, well
Well,
some of the
if they-
houses, I was doing it down at Monterey Keys, so obviously those houses are very nice. Most of them have got a boat at the front. I think they're
And a little
I
friendship
think they're a
jetty,
status
eh?
thing. They don't even fucking use them as far as I can
Yeah.
tell. So, what was it? 18 months ago, I guess. I just got a call from a friend a friend of a friend that lives at Monterey Keys and said, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. Would you come down and labour for us to just do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right," because that's what I do. And that was fucking hard yakka, and I was like, "Shit!" And then I ended up getting another 3 jobs, just in the same area. And then I didn't it wasn't an advertising gig. I just did it because they asked me. I was like,
Yeah, it just happened organically, right?
yeah, exactly. Just referrals from next door. And then I did those 3 and that was sort of it. I didn't get any back. Well, you got to advertise or
Yeah,
something.
you got to pursue.
And did you when you sort of were first catching on to like, fuck, there might be something here, did you have to educate yourself on pricing and things like that?
It's
Or
pretty
were you just-
simple.
Yep.
Like how long it's
Yep.
pretty much just comes down to how much stone.
Like a cubic meter rate.
Well, that's what I've been
Yeah,
going by.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So biggest job I did was 7 cubic meters of stone
Oh, fuck.
by wheelbarrow and like bucket with a trolley downstairs. Like none of the accesses are like mint. Like they're all a pain in the
Yeah.
ass. I've had to buy this is a hot tip for anybody that does like wheelbarrows to backyards. Get those little yellow caravan or trailer stops from fucking super cheap, and your wheelbarrow will just go downstairs. Absolutely fucking beautiful. So use that one in my
Nice.
So that was a little hot tip I found out. That made life a lot fucking easier. What would you say? What was it?
Oh,
me.
just we were talking about.
We get sidetracked too
Fuck
much.
me.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you.
God.
So yeah, okay. I think I know one. Crickets. There you go. You finished. With your fucking buttons here.
Yeah, I'm just fucking loving it.
I want one. I'd use it at home when the kids don't do shit.
Yeah, it'd be like,
It's
what'd you
time
say?
to do the dishes, bitch. Anyway, so I didn't have a job for about 18 months, and I got a call. What did I do? How do you get on it? No, one bloke called me and said, "Listen, I saw what you did because I posted a video on a local group or something down there."
Yep.
And he goes, "I need this done, blah blah blah." He calls me and we talk about it, and then he's like, "No, I'm not going to do it." And then about 3 months later, he rings up and he goes, "I want you to do it." So I went and did it, and he had a bloke next door do the same thing, but where I can earn the money or where I have the niche is that the only other option to do what I do from in that area anyway. I don't know what other suburbs are, but that Monterey Keys area with the lock, they have to hire a barge to get in and do the same job. And hiring the barge is something like thousands and thousands of dollars just to hire the barge.
Yeah.
Then you could probably put on top the fucking blokes to run it,
The
3 or
fuel,
4, and then they've
fucking-
got everything. So it ballooned out to stupid prices for these people to do these jobs. But it's just a bit of hard labour. It's not real lot of thinking about it. It's just hard labour, and and it was decent money for 2 or 3 days' work. I could stretch those days out if I wanted to as well.
Well, because you're doing per job.
Yeah.
It's not like you're on an hour,
And-
so you can. Yeah, you can.
And that's why I could quote decent price, because if I was to quote just standard labouring rates, I'd just get taken advantage of and I'd run myself into the fucking ground.
Yep.
So you put your price up a little bit. You're making good money, but you're busting your gut doing
Yeah,
it.
fuck
Yeah,
oath,
I
mate.
mean,
I need 2 days to recover.
Yeah.
After Wednesday, if I'm doing it, so I'm not working the next day. Although I did, after doing a few of them, I improved. Like,
oh yeah, it's amazing
well,
how
the
your
more
body.
you do it.
yeah, like
I
for
can only
40,
imagine.
nearly 40 fucking 6 years old.
And-
I
and if-
shouldn't be fucking doing it.
And if you were sort of looking to, progress or go further and really look at this as just say a full-time gig, like so you're not on the lawns anymore, is there machinery and bits and pieces you can look into to make this, more viable? Because you said it yourself, you're 46.
Like an auto wheelbarrow would definitely be.
They're great if I guess you have
Yeah.
a straight flat line.
You still got to fucking load the thing up.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah.
so Shori, sorry to sidebar, cut you off.
No, go.
Shori bought this fucking electric wheelbarrow.
Yeah, he was
We were
telling
talking
me
about
that.
it today.
That
Yeah,
holds, it's something ridiculous.
300 kilos, I think they're rated to.
Yeah, but the actual volume is like like it's not half a cube, but it's a lot. It might be
Like a quarter of a
It might be a
cube?
quarter of a cube.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, because I know it's expensive, and I'm like, you still have to load the fucker.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize what they do is they've got the dingo.
Yeah.
Because the dingo is very slow to physically pick up a bucket load, take it to the spot, and then you've got your drive time back. So, you know, essentially they use the dingo to load this thing up, and on its way back, you can get the dingo to do a load as well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's you know, ways that everyone can become more efficient. Obviously,
Sometimes it's not about efficiency. It's about having the ability to work longer because you're fucked if you're doing a lot of labour work. If you've got something to take away the labour, you're going to work longer in the day.
look, we say that all the time about 32-inch mowers.
Yeah.
You know, some people say, "Oh fuck, you want to," you know, you can
just use
you
a
can,
Thingo mower, yeah.
you know, you could just push that. But at the end of the day, you know,
Fuck, I'm cramping.
if you
I'm not kidding. Okay.
if you
Stretch it out.
if you have a look at, you know, 12, 14 lawns a day, 5 days a week, and then in a 10-year period, you know, and if you can do it on a 32-inch,
It's arthritis fucking with a push mower.
you know,
Oh, you talk. Seeing you stretch out just reminded me. So we were fucking hammering away doing this mulch today, and we fucking come back around the corner, and I see this couple with the bloke's got his foot up on his missus' lap.
He's getting his nails.
He's getting a pedicure. Fucking in the
my-
dog park, yeah. Fucking bullets.
So they were the couple you were talking about. Yeah, I hit them up.
toenail bullets flying everywhere. It's like, geez.
Far out.
They're
Stuff
like,
that you see.
we're not in your way, are you? I'm like, fuck, if I get busted in the eye by one of your fucking manky old nails, you're going to be in my way.
I'm suing.
It was gross.
so, you know, are you looking at this?
Well, I'll say, like, because I've been, like, this is my theory. I don't know if it's true. I think it is. Because I've been banned on Facey a lot of time, I don't get a lot of exposure with stuff. Like, if I promote things or share things, I just don't get the same exposure that I used to. I think once you've been banned a few times, you kind of get blacklisted and your stuff gets put... Shut up.
Yeah, your algorithm would be
It
damaged.
fucks you up. So
Yeah.
I've advertised in these local groups where they are these rock things, and I've got a few look-ins, but it doesn't seem to get the same exposure if someone that I did a job for puts the same video
Word
up
of
in,
mouth.
and I got 3 or 4 jobs,
Yeah.
you know, from one person posting a
Word
video,
of
and
mouth
that's
is
another 5-6 weeks work for me.
It's good the communities that you're working in are quite a close community as
Yes,
well. Like if they're
yes.
all on the canals, they're all fucking
Rich
chatting.
and snobby shits.
Yeah.
No, I won't say that. They're lovely people.
But no, like if
All
you,
part of the same country club.
yeah, I think like if it,
We don't have that
it's
here
got
in
legs.
Australia, eh?
Oh, we got tennis clubs. I think tennis clubs are the shit here. But no, it's a fucking awesome idea. Like I've never really seen much, and the way that you film stuff definitely has its advantages. Like the content that you do with the time lapse and stuff. I really
it's
like
a satisfaction
the
thing.
before
It
and
looks good.
afters. And I think like if you actually target those areas. Because, like, what's, a drive up here, like, you'd get to know all the fucking landscape yards and shit. And I'm sure you could probably find better price bluestone
I
and
did
shit.
see a better price, but I just hadn't had a job to get. But I think there's a minimum delivery you can go straight from the quarry, or you can go from,
Yeah.
from the real estate. But if you go, not from the real estate, from the fucking
Landscape.
landscape supplies.
Yeah,
but
there's
if you go
always
from the
a-
quarry, you gotta order.
There's always a
plus
caveat.
6 cubes, and honestly, I can only do so much in a day.
Yeah.
And I don't like leaving big piles of stones on the
Imagine
side of the
40
road.
cubes of stones fucking sitting outside some.
Well, the most I've had
$6
delivered
million
in
house.
one kick was 5 cubes.
Yeah.
And I had the kids helping that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah,
need it.
it was we got it all done in one day. It was
Yeah.
all right. But
Well, it's a good idea.
it's a
I
hard
hope you
job.
run with it, man. I
I
can
think-
only imagine what. Yeah, it'd be fucking crazy.
I made
Have you
the
thought about
mistake.
dry hiring a dingo or something like that?
it just wouldn't work.
Just no access?
Well, the access could be,
Yeah.
and they're slow.
Do you charge extra for access? Like if there's fuck all access,
I wouldn't.
or do you just
guess I
take it
think
into
I-
account when at the end?
Like I see a job as it's a week wage for me. If it takes a fucking week.
yeah,
And I'm earning a few $1,000s, that's still okay. I
Yeah.
don't care if it takes me a week. But knowing me, I just fucking just
Bust it
bang
out.
bang. I say okay, max 3 days, and I'm done in 2 or whatever.
I'm the same way, and it's just like I know things take time. Like sometimes, but I always look at it. It's like, well, it's 4:00. Like I could just stay till 7.
Yeah,
like.
But this job, like I go to lunchtime, I cannot go any further.
Yeah.
You cannot work anymore, and it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
When you're lifting a barrow downstairs and you're losing strength and that, and it hurts more. It's like, nah, I'll give it up. I'm under no pressure to freaking sit here all day and bust my gut. I'll just come back tomorrow. It sucks that I'm going to come back to Brizzy.
That's where you get injuries.
You know what I honestly thought of when I first saw it? One of the photos was I just immediately thought of slave labor because all of
the chain gang kind of thing.
Because where we live,
setting up stones on the railway.
Where we live, like the whole waterfront, which is 20 k's long, like there's all like old photos and stuff of all the slaves having to build and do all the retaining walls.
Yeah,
and you just think like you're
charging are higher than your house, like. Those walls are massive.
Like you're charging, X amount to do it and, knocking off whenever and that. And they would have been in situations where, like, if they stopped working for like a second, they get whipped. I can't believe it.
Yeah. So I've got to channel that shit next time I do it. It's like, I'll put a chain ball on to give myself the full immersion.
I looked at it as like straight up hard yakka.
Well, it is. Yeah. Well, I made the mistake. I got lots of work. I had like 2 months work lined up. That's one a week.
Yeah.
That's
pretty.
If you had 2 okay jobs, but you look at the access and you think, no, that's just. This
and you were just chasing these during winter, like only.
Yeah. Well, they just sort of dribbled off because I wasn't getting any more leads. I've got one. I think another 3 weeks. I think I'll do it, and hopefully when I'm down there, I'll get a few more from it. It's a different spot, but
It's not like they wash away or anything like that.
No, I don't get referral customers.
Do you know
one off? That's it.
Do you know around about how many years you get out of a wall like that?
Should be 20, 30 years.
Okay.
Like I think that's about.
Like
no, I'm not going back to any of them.
Okay.
Like, but I think what happened was the water they had during the floods that we had, whenever period that was, it raised the locks. And it flooded all their lawns and stuff in behind the wall because it came up above the wall.
Oh, okay.
So, and then the water and their lawns and soil got waterlogged and, become sort of viscous or whatever they call it and sort of fell down.
Yeah, and kind of pushed them.
And pushed they had this shitty old geofabric stuff there that was obviously deteriorated by now. And all the stones just sort of fell down.
Yeah, okay.
Not all of them. Yep. It's not every single place needs it done, but...
But you can tell once it's done. You can tell that it's
it looks like and it's a visual thing too. It looks good. But now
that's what I was going to say. Like,
until they look like all the other rocks.
You got all these places lined up, and you do this fresh job. Yeah, and you look down the line, and everyone's probably thinking like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah. Well, there was one time I was doing a job, and like you can see across the lot, there's people like the 300 meters maybe across there. I've had people or one bloke drive all the way around and come and see me. I just saw you doing it on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you come and give me a quote? And, I'll see you when I'm finished. Yeah.
That, maybe you should do little personalised card drops after you do one and just be like, hey, my name's Leroy on the back. I was in, this is your neighbour up the road. It's fucking
well, you could drive up the canals in a boat.
Oh, my God.
With the actual rocks.
Well, I've seen one bloke drive on one of those friggin' like surfboards that come out of the water and cruises past, and I think, you bastard.
Yeah, you could just stand there.
You don't even work, mate.
And you could just be whipping rocks, just put a little note on and be like, oi, do your fucking jetty, you dog.
But it's as noisy as hell, too, because if I throw one down and it hits other rocks, when it echoes.
Oh, because it's kind of...
People coming out of their houses and stuff. So that's the way. But the only way I think I can advertise to do that is literally just door knock.
Yeah.
And, give it a card and go in and say, listen, I've been doing these jobs in your street. If you want this done now or in the future, here's my card, blah, blah, blah.
No, that's good, man. It's
you only need one.
It's just out of the box. That's why I liked it so much. It just is like...
I just sort of fell into it.
Cool.
But I made the mistake when I had all of those jobs in winter of knocking them over fucking one after the other.
Did you feel jacked as fucked? Like, were you just like, after you
do
a bit of
muscle, I put a bit of muscle on. But I think main thing is my arse now from bending over, because I think in our industry, you lose your ass because you're standing upright all the time. So you lose your ass. So I did a lot of squatting with the rocks.
I've never had an ass.
I never had one. I've just got a long back.
Mine's gone. Like, my fucking
Russell's got a ghetto booty.
Oh, it does, doesn't he? Yeah, that's Russell fucking met Leroy today. I looked at him, I'm like, these two are fucking built the same. Again, Papa, can you hear me?
I found out I'm literally half as fucking... Will is literally half the age of me. He's 23.
Oh, Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a youngster.
And he's like literally...
He's a fucking handsome.
Maybe you
young
want to
rooster.
vomit.
But yeah, so Dion's only 26.
Is he?
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, 2 kids.
He looks,
I've gone Danny
doesn't
Glover. I'm
li-
too
does he
old for
listen?
this shit.
I don't know if he listens.
because he looks old.
Yeah, I thought it. Well, people think he's me, the poor cunt.
Dion.
Even when Ella even when Ella passed away, people were coming out at my villages and hugging him, and I'm so sorry.
I'll
And
pass
I
it
was,
on.
and I was like, "Fuck, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, buddy." It was awkward when I was like, "Oh, I'm not PJ."
Don't they realise you're the bearded fucking
I'm
ones?
like, do we look like? Are you my son? No, like I don't think we look that much alike.
No, I don't think
think
he's
at all.
really. No,
I just
so.
think people don't pay attention to me.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, fuck.
No, so I mean, look, I know this has been a pretty loose episode, but this, new venture for your business, it really is, something for everyone to just have a think about. Obviously, it doesn't have to be, along the same lines or anything, but you can diversify in whichever way that you want that
Well, I
makes
think-
you happy.
I think when you work for yourself and you're successful, you can pretty much dip into anything that you sort of like or are half good at, because it's not really about skills, it's about motivation and your determination and your hustle.
I remember
Yeah.
years and years ago. I do believe I was still pretty young at the time, but I was going to go and get
You're
like
still
a pest
just
control.
25, aren't you?
Oh boy, nobody's called me that in a long time. No, I was going to go get a pest control ticket, and I was going to do lawns and pest control.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I never did it because obviously you had to get qualified, right?
Yeah, that's your motto, isn't it? Like go your whole career without getting qualified.
Well,
You could do that fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
well,
that's true. Yeah,
it's not necessarily my motto, but time is money.
yeah,
Yeah,
Look, and qualifications cost. It's not a fucking free thing to go and get.
it was
I got-
more about the time.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, just in my personal thing, it was more like, man, if I take a day off, like I need $500.
Yeah, and then you're like, got to.
Back then it was
not
probably
even
only
just
400.
not even just the 500. Then you got to fucking make up the work. Like you got to catch up.
So, but like I said to the listeners, and especially new businesses as well, that have kind of been pigeonholed into just that mowing, snipping, and hedging.
Yeah.
And we've talked about things, like pressure cleaning and stuff, but really everyone's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And like I was even talking to me homie Stu last night from Warhorse.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's got the fucking most gangster fucking low. Like he's got the bomb trucks. Like you can't miss that dude. And he was saying, "Fuck, man! Like what's going on with this weather?" And he's going to take a different. Like I was saying, with the whole diversify thing, I was like, just hustle your customers you got now. And he's like, "Look, I'm going to do a bit more in the way of advertising." So he's like doing a bit more Facebook marketing and letterbox dropping and all that sort of stuff, which is, it's fucking, it's going to be successful. Like it's a good thing to do.
It's a good way to
As long
just
as you're
expand on
doing
what you're already
something.
doing.
Yeah.
This, however, is something like it's kind of like an untapped market.
Yeah.
But it's not a big market because you don't have.
No, yeah.
Well,
Even in Monterey Keys, not every place is.
I mean, it's not like they're building a
river
lot
frontage.
more it's not a popular thing to build canals anymore. So I'm guessing like all those canals are like 30, 40 years old and they stretch from Sunshine. If you were going to the fucking Sunshine Coast and doing a job, like say down the track.
Dude, even if you just have a look at our area and just look at Birkdale, Wellow, Cleveland.
Yeah,
Almost
Birkdale.
Raby
Yeah,
Point.
around
fucking hell,
Raby
like
Bay,
you've
all that.
got a whole avenue there.
Hundreds of kilometres of just...
And we're not trying to
Yeah.
sell it to the
No,
podcast
I just-
audience. We're only using it as an example
Think
of what
outside
can
the
be
box.
of what can be done with not even really like qualifications, just
That's
work,
just
just
hard.
work.
And it comes back to what you always say, Ben, like you're not going to be successful unless you get outside and actually fucking physically do the job. Like you can talk all the shit you want and be like, oh, I'm marketing here, I'm marketing there. But if you're not actually doing anything.
Well, I'm listening to Leroy even talk about the marketing, and I'm already having a gazillion things going
So
through
am
my
I.
head. But I wouldn't be able to go out there and I couldn't even do one barra. You know what I mean? Like, that is just the way that it is for me now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I think it's incredible.
Yeah,
opportunity.
it's cool. It's cool.
I'll keep plodding along, but it's not something I can kind of push to advertise. Like it's, I don't know. I tried.
It's
Yeah.
very targeted. Like
it is. It's very
Facebook,
niche-y.
Facebook marketing wouldn't really work, and like
No,
Yeah, it's not-
It's more of a referral thing. Like if
like
I do a job and get 4 out of it, that's great. There might be
Yeah.
times where I do a job and I don't get anything, and I think that's what happened with the last one I did.
Yeah.
I just sort of had nothing to continue on with, and plus I'm up in Brizzy. I got to travel down the Gold Coast. It's not
Yeah.
like I live around the corner and I can just cruise around and do letterbox drops or something, and or knock door knocks or whatever. So I've got to take time to go down there or whatever.
And so when you compare it to your everyday normal works, I guess are you mostly doing just lawns and hedges and stuff, or were you doing lots of garden cleanups and things?
I've done a few garden cleanups, but it's mainly just my regulars. Over the winter, I sort of got rid of a few. The ones that just weren't sorting, like not bringing in the money. Like I was saying to BJ today, there's a fine line between quoting a job that makes you good money or quoting it a bit lower where you're going to be, yeah, it's all right, or you miss out on the job altogether. Like, do you want a bit of money or do you want no money? Because in my area, I don't know, it's probably the same everywhere. There's a lot of competition and there's always someone that's probably going to do it cheaper, so it's a case of, that's what I did over winter. I got rid of a lot of push jobs that took a lot of time. And because I was rooted by doing these rock jobs, I didn't want to spend a day push mowing after I'd just moved 4 cubes of, giant fucking stones the day before. So I took the opportunity to, cull a few shitty jobs that, I like the people and everything else. No, that's not a question of anything. It's just whether, I enjoyed turning up for an hour and a half for whatever money or whatever push mowing. And the job that I do, it's not a shitty job. I like to do the nice edges and shit like that. And that all takes time. And I can't not do that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you either got to pay me for it or I'm just not going to worry. I'm not going to do the job at all.
And it's good to keep things fresh anyway, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Turn over new clients and,
Yeah.
always be looking for the next one or the next opportunity.
Well, we spoke a couple.
I'm just more selective now with what I take
we
on.
spoke last week or the week before, the episode before, I should say, about like pride is a big thing, like pride in your work.
Well, I saw it the other day. A front yard is advertising, a backyard is a referral.
Yeah.
I thought
That's pretty
That's
cool. I never
actually-
read
yeah,
that.
that's
I made
really
that up.
good.
I think last year I was going through my photos and I saw it. I was like, "Fuck, that's a front yard is advertising, a backyard is a referral."
And you know what? While we're on that topic, because I've talked about it, and I'm not targeting anyone because it's not just any one person saying this, but there's just chatter around social media groups, about like, hey, we don't need to do the best. You don't need to do the best job, like rah. But what you're saying is so true. Like if you're on a corner block or a main road or a front yard, like that is your fucking.
I've been thinking about
advertising.
getting, steaks, on your good lawn.
Well, I don't know. I'm dumb as fuck. I live on like a main road where I have acreage properties one way. I've got $1 million fucking waterfront properties the other, and I just have never taken advantage of it. I don't park my much. I don't do any. I should. Once all the roadworks are done. Once I get my fucking road back, I might actually look into like chucking a sign or two out. But
when I lived down in Loda, not at that place that you saw, but when I was younger, I lived at me olds. I just had it was just palmetto buffalo grass, and it was a fairly small patch, maybe 30 square meters or something. And buffalo is more commonly known to be left high and thick.
yeah.
And I'm just like a serial, like a low mow guy. And every Friday, I used to mow this like level 2 on a Honda. And it looked really sexy, right? Like I didn't have the weeds and
Big jacaranda tree in the middle.
Yeah.
It did look good.
And like, I wouldn't, by today's standard, you wouldn't look at it and go like, holy shit, right? But in relation to the rest of the street, like people used to walk their dogs, and when they got to our house, they'd like walk on the road. They wouldn't walk on the grass. And like I just always remember, like because I'd be out there watering it or whatever. And I always just remember feeling so good and proud about it. And like I think that's just my beef with it, with people saying like, okay, you don't need to do the best job or you don't need to like, where's the fucking pride gone?
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be honest. I have some clients that, they don't. They're like rentals. They're keeping it down basically to satisfy the real estate.
Yeah.
And if they want a cheaper job, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, don't
I
get me
won't
wrong.
necessarily be satisfied doing it, but I'll do it.
Yeah, but it's price relative, right? Like if you, like
That's where you come with homeowners and rentals. I think homeowners take a lot more pride in what you do, and I will always, try and say to the client, okay, I'm going to do fucking your edges aren't dug in or anything. I'm going to work on doing that and get it nice and blah blah blah. And you can charge a little bit more, but when you're doing a lot of rentals and that, well, I know in my area it's shit. Like there's.
Well, I've had a rental mowing business, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
And they fuck
you
off
go
on you
in
after
there,
6 months or 12 months, they're gone.
You're mowing it on like level 8.
Yeah.
You still get the lines in it.
Yeah. Yeah. You walk in
Lines,
and
what are they?
The fucking thatch is like this high.
the first thing you find out all the details about their life in like the first 15 minutes. They're talking about, I'm a single mum.
Do they have a voice like that?
I've got no money, but I've got 38 dogs and 26 kids. And it's like, fuck.
And a bong out on the fucking back there.
Yeah.
See, a lot of the rentals that I was doing like
It was
when
different.
I had
People could afford to fucking rent.
well, that's true too.
No one can afford to fucking rent now.
fuck.
Jesus.
Like I was a mower guy for the local Remax, and we had a huge run of rentals, and it wasn't that.
So they were
ours
paid by
were
the
mixed.
real estate with it.
paid by the real estate.
Well, see, that doesn't happen very often now. Normally, it's the tenant that takes
So we
control
worked.
of the lawns.
Yep. So when I say we, it was a system that they had already basically adopted, but anything that was either middle to high end, the mowing price was worked into the rent. So the rental had no option. The renter, sorry.
That sounds like my missus' place. She does that.
If you rent this place, it's going to be X amount, but you get free mowing. What the issue was is they weren't we weren't responsible for any of the gardens.
Yeah.
You didn't have to pick up a spray pack at all.
Did you find
And-
when it happened like that, the expectations from the renter compared to what you're actually quoting? Because there's a disconnection there between like what
Well, I
you
can give you a
the
personalised thing there.
The resident just had no say in anything. Like they would just, essentially move into the property. Okay, lawns are included.
Yeah.
I actually had that at Loader. The lawn and the pool was included.
Oh, that's right.
And I had to say to him, like, guys, like it's just this is just not going to work for me having someone mow my lawn. And they're like, well, it's worked into the rent. I'm like, look, I'm just gonna fucking mow it anyway. Because that's like I would never be able to tolerate someone mowing my lawn. And anyway, they eventually corrected it, and they said, well, no matter what, like I used to look after my pool as well.
Yeah.
But the pool people used to come and we used to just wear that on the head.
Yeah.
But look, it's a good system.
Yeah, it works. Like if you're renting, like fucking.
Well, my missus,
one
she's down
less
at Redland
thing.
Bay, and she's in I wouldn't say a gated community, but in like a community that's all like the streets are all
Yep.
part of a
Yep.
fucking whatever it is. I don't know. And part of the thing is that she gets mowing every second Tuesday or whatever.
Nice.
Have you tried to get in there then?
No, she's working on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
should
Fucking
try.
hustle on.
But yeah, he only
Imagine
does
just
only
Leroy,
does the lawns.
coming out in his undies, fucking
Ready to go.
Because you live there, yeah. Fuck,
Open up the garage door. Just
pull
fucking-
those weeds here. Fucking,
Pull this here. No.
Oh no, we're going back to the first 20 minutes of the episode.
Stop it. So anyway, we'll get back to real talk. So yeah, there is a disparity from the bloke just doing the lawns and leaving everything else to get out of control because it's not my fucking job.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Sorry to cut you off again. I'd say the hardest
I'm
part.
done. It's all good.
I'd say the hardest part about that is that the resident will be, oh, do you mind just ducking around with the spray paint?
Yeah, that's what I
And
meant
it's like,
before.
nah,
Like
get
the
fucked. Like-
residents' expectations.
Lamingtons and a coffee, and I'll think about it.
But I got to be honest. When Rusty first came on board, I had to have proper serious conversations
I
with
could
him.
imagine.
Like, bro, don't pull that weed. And he's like, but it's fucking looking at me, Ben. I know.
I know what that's like.
And I'm like, all right, I know, I get it. and you
Just
know,
snip it, mate. Just
or say like a tree limb that just
Yeah.
doesn't. It's like Rusty, just let it go.
It's
He's
just
like,
not our place.
The only time I'd let him do it is if it was physically in our way.
Yeah, okay.
And I didn't really have an issue with doing little bits and pieces, but with a dude like Russ, that's a stepping stone to like just trimming a hedge.
Yeah.
You know, like some.
Just watering fucking plants. I'm like,
shit.
I was like,
Next
hey,
bit.
bud, do you want to water these plants? Take you a couple of hours. Fuck me if he doesn't.
4 hours later.
Yeah, he does because he's like, I had to fix the mulch around every single plant. I'm like,
Yeah.
we planted 145 fucking plants, man.
That's OCD.
So it takes him two days to water the fucking plants. I'm like,
I'll never forget the day when we.
Bro.
I think you were with
I'm
us.
like, you're doing yourself an inch. I can't pay you anymore because I'm giving you exactly what I'm getting to do it. Like, I can't pay you extra. So just water the fucking things so they stay alive.
I'll never forget the
you
time.
need a timer on the fucking hose.
It won't work. Won't
It won't
work.
work.
He'll figure out a way to bypass that shit. But remember when we mulched out at Greenleaves? We did like 70 cube over the course of 7 weeks. But
Yes.
remember, we'd be like, all right, Russ, hit that garden. We'll hit this garden, right? And he's like, like with these like leaves and stuff. And I already knew where it was going. I was like, if they're just grab the stuff around the plant stems and the open stuff, we'll mulch over it. And he's already given me like the crooked head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just
do it.
you know, and then before I fucking know it, there's like me and Beach come around the corner after doing like 1,000 gardens, and Rusty hasn't even done he's got canvas bags of just leaves
Fucking
everywhere.
destroyed my life.
You got to appreciate.
Like I 100%
He needs to work
appreciate
for
it.
himself and see how long he lasts.
Well, he does. Like he does. He works for me 2 days a week, and he does his own thing the rest of the week. But one of the first experience I had when I worked with Ben and Rusty, I hadn't worked with Rusty before. I went to do that mulching, and I fucking had to pull Ben aside. I'm like, this fucking cunt's been unraveling this fucking 30-meter sprinkler for the last fucking. I've done 3 cubic meters of mulch. I've put it in the garden and detailed, and he's still at the sprinkler. You have to fucking do something. Like I was like, I can't watch that. I need to fucking either be put up the back where I can't see it, or
I left him there one day. He used to go to the bathroom and like blow himself down, like get all the grass clippings off him. Then he'd wash his hands. Then he'd wash up to his elbows.
He's
and
like
everything.
American Psycho.
And I'm telling him like,
Patrick
hey,
And
Bateman.
then he'd shit out a fucking
The-
a full cat's worth of shit.
the kids
Oh
the
my
kids
God.
were little back then, and if you didn't get on the main drag like around 3 o'clock, that's it. You weren't going to get home till 4.
Yeah.
Whereas you could get home in 15 minutes if we just left now. And I left Rusty there, and he rang me and he's like, "You're a fucking asshole." I was like, "No, you're a fucking asshole, making me wait for that shit. We're going. There's a shower at home."
Yeah. What about the fucking day that Dion? So the last time I was mulching the village after I purchased it from Benny, Dion's walking up to me with this. It looked like the blood had just rushed out of his head, and he walked up to me and he goes, "Are you okay?"
Don't
I'm like,
tell the story.
"What?" I won't name names.
Too late now.
Nah, I'm telling it. Fuck
Who are
it.
they going to think it's
I'm gonna
about?
tell
You
it.
clickbaited, bitch. Come
Anyway,
on.
he fucking he's like, "Man, like seriously, are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine." Like I'd just taken a shit earlier, and he was so worried, like serious concern. Anyway, I'm like,
Must have been a while.
he goes, "You got to fucking come and see this." And I was like, "What has happened?" And I thought
know
like
this now,
I
yeah.
thought like I'd cracked the toilet seat or something with my weight. Anyway, we walked down, and there is the biggest shit I've ever seen in my life.
And who did you say laid it?
I can't say. And for the life of me, we couldn't fucking get it to go away.
I think you told me, but I can't
Yeah,
remember the
yeah.
name,
Well, we were flushing it, and it was fucking banging from side to side. It was like
It's like the log ride.
the person in question. Yeah, it was like the person in question had been
SeaWorld.
eating fucking
For an-
PVC glue.
For anyone who's watching on YouTube, it had a face and it was going like this.
Oh my god!
He's doing the silly salmon down the thing. Yeah.
I had to take a photo of it to
Oh, you
show
did?
everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
And yeah, mate, it was by far the biggest shit. And the only way it disappeared was the person in question who
Had to crush it
laid
up.
set. Yeah, had to get a stick out of the garden and
A manic.
give it a fucking what do you call it? The mince, the fucking mint. The fucking mincer.
Geez, everyone knows Rusty on this show pretty well now.
I was going to say.
Oh,
is
did
he
I
on
just
Mate
name
Notice?
You
him?
just named
Oopsies.
him, you fucking cheeky bastard.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Anyway, I
fuck.
just realised what the time. I just realised what the time is. We're going to cruise. Leroy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
On
It's
the
been
Bad
like an
Skull
absolute
sessions.
pleasure.
Always a pleasure, brother.
A bit of smack talk on a Friday Ave. Now, don't forget to leave us some reviews and
Yes.
check out Bad Workwear and Mole Merch.
Mark, yeah.
We didn't run any ads, but that's our cheap plug for
Yep.
today. Until next time, at Catch Pro, he's at TBL, and we're out of time.
Peace.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.